Health and wellness, well-being, disease, disorder, illness. What do these terms actually mean? It's Mental Health Awareness Month, so let's define some terms. Hi, I'm Mira Binzen, author of Anxious to Awesome, a practical guide for the whole family, and co-founder, along with my mom and sister, of Global Family Wellness. We're here to support you and your family in thriving. If you're interested in this kind of thing, be sure to subscribe to our channel and give this video a thumbs up. So let's get started with some definitions. Why is it important to understand these? Well, the more you can define what's going on for yourself, the better you can define the kind of strategies that you would like to put into place into your life. Also, it makes us all more compassionate and caring. So let's start with disease, disorder, and illness. Disease is very specific. It's something you can measure on a scale, like cancer or high blood pressure. It's something you can see under a microscope, and it's very specific. However, even something specific as a diagnosable disease, it still has a lot of variability within it. For example, what's considered high blood pressure today is different than what was considered high blood pressure in the past. Now, illness and disorder are a little more broad of terms, and they're also a little more subjective. It's not something that can be objectively measured. For example, you go to 3 different clinicians and they might give you 3 different diagnoses. This is very common with something like anxiety and attention deficit disorder. Someone with anxious feelings might be diagnosed with attention deficit disorder. So it's subjective. The good news here is that it means you're not stuck. It's not fixed. You do have agency and you can make choices to change. Another thing to consider with disorder and illness is that it exists along a continuum or a spectrum. For example, with anxious feelings, you might have anxious feelings to the point where you miss school once a month or something like that. Or it could be so serious that your anxious feelings keep you from missing school all the time, or from being able to go to work or do the things that you need to do or want to do. So the subjective nature of it, as well as the fact that it's on a continuum, means that you have a lot of agency. There's room for you to implement habits and tools into your life to make a difference. So let's talk about health and wellness and well-being. Health typically refers to physical health. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, and the reason we have a month dedicated to mental health awareness is because people aren't that aware of it. Your health care mostly covers physical health, although now it is covering mental health. Physical health simply means all the systems in your body are functioning well. Everything works. Nothing is causing you any trouble in your day-to-day experience of life. Mental health is the same. Mental health includes your moods or emotions, your thoughts, and your behavior. So when your thoughts or your moods or your behaviors are disordered, or there's some illness there, it means that they're getting in the way of your day-to-day life, how well you're able to function in the world or interact with others, which is a huge part of being human. There's a third aspect of health that I think is really important, and that's spiritual health. Now, this is something that certainly is not covered by healthcare insurance at this time. Maybe someday it will be. It simply means your own personal, unique relationship with something higher than your individual self. This could be something you describe as God, or the Great Spirit that moves in all things, or consciousness, or the creator or source. However you define it, it's very subjective and very personal, and it's very important to our overall state of health. Now, when we have physical health and mental health and spiritual health, we have wellness. So wellness is the practices that we do to be healthy. So health and wellness are pretty close, but wellness is more about the actions that we take. Like going to get a massage is a wellness strategy. Taking a walk in the woods is a great wellness strategy for all aspects of your health. It's great for your physical health. It's great for your mental health, and it's great for your spiritual health as well. And when we have that, we have well-being. So well-being is a state of wellness that's with us at all times. Something important to understand about well-being is that you can have a disease and still experience well-being. For example, someone with cancer who's going through treatments for cancer and the outcome isn't sure just yet, can still have a really beautiful quality of life, can still have very meaningful and nurturing relationships, can still have a beautiful relationship with the divine or a higher power, can still go for a walk in the woods and feel good in their body, even though there's some disease in the body. So well-being is a state that we arrive at through the practices of wellness that addresses all the different areas of our health: physical, mental, and spiritual. The big takeaway here is that you do have agency over all these aspects of your health. So mental health has to do with having emotional states that don't derail your life. For example, it doesn't mean you're never going to have anxious feelings or never be angry, but those anxious feelings or that anger isn't going to ruin a relationship or cost you your job. And the same with your thoughts. Your thoughts are healthy thoughts, and that means that they're not destructive to yourself or others, and the same goes for behavior as well. Behavior is making choices, and habits are behaviors that we repeat again and again. So you have agency over all these areas of your life. So if this is so subjective, why would we even want to have a diagnosis? There's a couple of reasons why a diagnosis may be important for you or a child in your family. One is that it can just help you figure out what's going on, right? You walk into a dark room and you see a dark, shadowy blob in the corner and you're like, oh my gosh, what is that, right? You turn on the light and you recognize, oh, it's a pile of dirty clothes. It's time to do some laundry. So just understanding what's going on, especially in regards to mental health, can be reassuring and it can help you make some empowered choices. The other reason a diagnosis might be valuable is because it's a ticket to services. You can only get things covered by healthcare insurance if you have a diagnosis. Also, for example, you might get more time on a timed test in school with that diagnosis. So the diagnosis can be a ticket to some services that are going to support you, but it's important that that diagnosis doesn't define you. It's a condition in your life. It's not who you are. So for an example, your language, you can say my anxiety, which means the anxiety is who you are, versus saying I have some anxious feelings right now, or I've been given a diagnosis of generalized anxiety disorder, right? So the difference is that you're not letting it become who you are. It's a part of your life, and it's a part of your life that you can take lots of action around. And so if you'd like some extra help with this, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and come on over to anxious2awesome.com and join our community. We're supporting families with positive mental health strategies so everyone can thrive. Thanks so much for joining us. Have an awesome day, and we'll see you again soon.